Hello, and welcome to Sarah's Baked Goods. Today we're going to be making two Japanese-style cheesecakes. I've tested out if you can use mascarpone cheese. Now I need to taste test them side by side to make sure that which one is better or if it's even worth going for it. I think that the mascarpone cheese tastes better, but that could just be during the day I feel like that one tasted better, but when I taste them side by side, they're about the same and I just scrapped the mascarpone. If that's the case, then I'll just continue with the cream cheese one. If it's not the case, we'll continue with both of them. So, let's get into it. So I have the mascarpone cheese here and the cream cheese here. I've also put the butter in each one and the sugar in each one. I have the sugar and cream of tartar right here that I'll add to my egg whites. And we'll just get the egg whites going slowly and focus on these two. For the egg whites, you're just letting the machine go at medium speed till it's nice and hard peaks. So we're just gonna whip these up until they're nice and smooth, and then we'll start adding one yolk at a time. Now that they're both smooth, we'll start adding one yolk at a time. Once we get all the yolks in, we're going to just whip it up until it's nice and fluffy. Now that both are very fluffy, we're going to add in our milk and our lemon juice. Try to get your milk to room temperature so that it doesn't seize anything. And then our lemon juice. Make sure you get some of that zest in there as well, because that's going to be extra flavor and it's going to be extra good. And we're just going to mix these up until they're fully mixed in. Then we'll add the cornstarch. By then our egg whites should be done. And then we can just fold them all together and get them in the oven. So let's just sift in our cornstarch. You'll have to make sure you sift it in or you're going to make it too lumpy. So make sure you do sift it in. And it's simple, just with a nice strainer. And there you go, all done. Now for the next one. Now we'll just whip these one last time to make sure everything's mixed together. Remember, because it's cornstarch, you don't have to worry about over mixing it because there's no gluten. Once these are fully mixed in, our egg whites should be done, and we'll start folding those in as well. Here we are, fully ready. Surprising to me is the cream cheese is a lot softer than the mascarpone, which is good news for the mascarpone because that's the one that tastes the best, or at least what I think tastes the best. And if that one's working really good, that might mean I should only go with that one. So make sure you take a third at a time, but cut your thing in half if you're making two so that you're not taking all the whites for one and not for the other. And then we're just going to fold them in. If your mixture is very liquidy, the first third you're going to just have to mix in like this because there's not going to be solid enough to fold in. But if you're semi-solid, you can just fold in like this and keep working like that. When you're very close to fully mixing in your whites, you can add your next third. And there we are, we're ready to go. We just need to pour them into our pans. Make sure you have a nice lining on the bottom. Remember, you can wash these linings, so keep as many as you want and just keep washing them, because cutting a new circle each time is time consuming and kind of annoying. So make sure that you are doing that as well. So this is the mascarpone one. So we need to make sure we remember which side the mascarpone is on, so we don't mix them up. Just make sure that it's nice and level and that it's fully mixed in. There we are. And for our cream cheese mixture. This one's very liquidy, but it should still work out fine. Just mix that top, level it out. And then make sure you do your few smacks. One last thing you need to make sure you do is get some nice hot water to make a water bath, so that it cooks evenly throughout the whole thing. So we'll make sure to keep the cream cheese on this side and the mascarpone on this side. And all we have to do now is let it bake. Here's how they turned out: mascarpone, cream cheese. Once this cools down, that crack will semi go away, so that shouldn't be too much of a problem. They're looking good. Leave them in the water bath for 45 minutes as they cool, so that those cracks do go away. Once they fully cooled, we'll scrape around, get them out, and start doing our taste testing. So after you wait 45 minutes, take them out of the bath, scrape around them. You notice the crack is gone from this one. Now there is a big bubble mark, which means I didn't knock out all the bubbles from it, so make sure that you do that properly. But we're quickly gonna just flip it over. Take this out. Ooh. And get it onto our cutting board. And we'll do the same with this one. You can just do it by hand, and it works perfectly fine. And there we are. This is the mascarpone, this is the cream cheese. We'll start doing a taste test once it's fully cooled down to room temperature. So we'll come back then. Here they are. This is the mascarpone, cream cheese. Let's give them a taste and see if they're vastly different or not. There's a big difference. The mascarpone is a lot sweeter and a lot creamier as well. My guesses were correct. The mascarpone is definitely going to be way better. A lot smoother. Better tasting. So I am going to keep both. I'll be keeping the cream cheese one because it's still very good, and it will be the cheaper version of it. because mascarpone is very expensive. The mascarpone cheese one might be double the cost just because of the cheese. My worry about the mascarpone cheese being weaker isn't much of a problem. As you can see, the height of both are very similar, the size of both are very similar, so that's not really an issue. The other thing is, this cream cheese one has a lot more of that lemon taste coming through. So maybe add a little bit more lemon to the mascarpone, or a little less, depending on what I think needs to be done. I think I'm gonna actually go with a tiny bit less lemon juice for the cream cheese, just to mellow it out a bit. And I think the mascarpone cheese one will be perfect just the way it is. If you've liked this video, please like and subscribe. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. I even have my own website. Thank you, and have a nice day.